Hello there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I'm Kit Kat. My pronouns are she, her, and on this space I build a lot in The Sims. So today I'm actually taking advantage of the newest build kit, the Book Nook kit. So I really wanted to build with the new kit, and honestly, I feel like quite a few of us are in the Sims community are very big book fans, very big readers. Although I've been really bad about reading lately, but growing up, loved to read all the time. I think a lot of us, like, kind of after either high school or college, were kind of burnt out on reading, and I feel like that definitely has happened for me. But I really love this kit, so I wanted to use it in some way, and I decided to make a community lot. And it is a cafe, so it's a book lover's cafe, essentially. I think on the gallery I called it the Book Nook Cafe. It just kind of fit. So I'm building this in San Sequoia, the world that came with Growing Together, because there's that kind of strange 20 by 40 lot that is in the middle of two roads that I know a lot of people put community lots on, and I wanted to, build something there as well. I haven't built a community lot for this world yet, so I thought it would be a fun chance to do that. I don't limit the packs on this build, so I do apologize. It uses quite a few packs. So again, I'm very sorry about that. I just wanted it to live up to its full potential, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out. It's very modern, but also very cozy because of all the books and all the couches and things that allow it to be like a comfy place for your Sims to visit, or for you to visit and live vicariously through them. So I start off with this basic shape. It's not a massive build, but it is a bit of a strange sized lot. So in addition to the cafe, there's also like a small park for kids to play on some gym equipment, and there's a basketball hoop if your Sim needs somewhere to play basketball. Just because it's a weirdly spaced lot. So I'm using, I think the black siding is actually from the, oh gosh, it's the fitness stuff pack, whatever that one was called. And then the brown siding is from Growing Together, along with those windows. So initially I was putting a bunch of windows in the middle, and I even thought about using the greenhouse kit to kind of make like a little screened in porch, but that's where I end up putting all my bookshelves. And if you have a screened in porch, you can't really just cover them up with, modular bookshelves. It's kind of pointless to have windows there. So there's only two small windows in the front. They're actually probably one of the only two items that I use from the Snowy Escape pack. So if you don't have that pack and you want to download this, you don't need to worry about it, because you could just put in different windows or not have windows there, whatever you want. And I also thought about putting like a sunken book nook space in here, but instead I had the other side be sunken, where I'll put the bathroom there in the back. So essentially it's pretty open in this area, but the reason I couldn't make the book nook area sunken is because of the modular bookshelves. They won't snap to a lower height, so you can't put them like in the pit below the foundation, and that was a problem for me, so we got rid of that quickly. So it's essentially like a cafe bookstore as well. Like in the entry side, there's the cafe items, and then on the left side, where the bathroom will be, well, left side from where we are right now, is sort of like a little retail counter. I have stuff from the retail, from the Get to Work pack there for retail lots, but it's a cafe lot. So your Sims can't actually buy anything here. But you could change it to a retail lot if you want to own your own retail store as well, and you could actually, you could do that. It could be fun. So here I'm just laying out my modular bookshelves, and then I'll pop those two snow escape windows in there just to, and I think it fits in the front. Like, I don't think it looks kind of out of place that it's there. I had a fireplace because why not have the threat of fire when your Sims come to a community lot? Why not have that? And then I love that little coffee table, but I do put two of them down to make it just like a really big coffee table. Normally, I have the opposite problem with the coffee tables in The Sims. Normally they're too large, but in this case, where we have, lots of cozy couches and lots of floor space, it's like, I think we can actually do two of these, and the Sims can still walk around just fine. At the end, you'll see a little video of, the Sims using the space a little bit as a cafe, and I think it's kind of cute. You'll see my Sim self visiting the lot. So here I'm just laying out some tables. I think you only have to have a single table. Oh no, you have to have three. Okay, and I think we end up with 3 tables in the end. So you have to have 3 tables, you have to have a bathroom, things like that. All the things that you have to have on your functioning cafe lot. We have our little bathroom over here. It ends up being like a slightly different entryway shape just to the bathroom because of the sunken, retail pit. I guess we could call it a retail pit. Put a little porch back here so we can get our big dumpster outside, and then I just kind of enclose it with a fence. And that's really all that's in the back is the dumpster. Essentially pretending like only employees will go out there, but if your Sims need to come to the lot and woohoo or dive for deals in the dumpster, maybe you're in doing a rags to riches challenge, you can access the dumpster, no problem. So here just kind of like figuring out the flooring before we go in and add more details and things. So essentially we have all the items that we need to make this a cafe lot, but we always do the most here. I wanted the bathroom to be on a lower level, but I couldn't make that happen because, again, platforms and foundation. So I initially thought of just putting steps there, but in the end, I do end up kind of like having a little floor there in the corner so that, it's not just like a bunch of stairs. I had for some reason, I had issues with the half wall that I wanted to add. It like kept deleting my lowered down platform, but in the end we got it. It took me also a while to figure out like what bookshelves to have in this section of the store, the cafe, since it is supposed to be like a bookstore cafe. They do have those like kind of fun library bookstore reading shelves. I don't know what a reading shelf is, but I think I just made it up. Got like a little counter here where I'll put the cash register, and then I just go through and grab like a bunch of things from Get to Work, because yeah, it's a community lot. It makes sense to have those things. Over here I end up using those shelves from the Get to Work pack, because you can put like books or items on the bottom part, and then what I end up doing is just using more of that modular shelving to make it go up even taller. And that way it kind of looks like, there's lots of books being stored. It's like it's a bookstore. It's like a bookstore of books that are stored. I got a little shelf over there. Maybe you'll put like That's where customers can return their books if they're, you know, just reading while they sit in there, just borrowing, and maybe like a book test drive. Is that a thing? In college, I used to go to Barnes and Noble and do research in books that were there that I wasn't going to buy. I don't know if technically you're supposed to do that, but no one made me leave, so surely that means something. They didn't ask me to leave, and I know people go into like bookstores and coffee shops to try to do like their homework and other things like that, so maybe they thought I owned the book. I put the book back. I did not purchase. I just took a bunch of notes and got out of there after a few hours. So maybe you'll have people that do that here. I don't know. This would be a good lot to put in, like, to have like a college student come to if you have the university pack. Also, I saw James Turner use those like steel beams that I put there in the cafe, and I was like, you know what? I want to use those too. It's kind of like industrial-ish vibes, and I think it fits the theme. And then over here, it's kind of more library bookstore-ish on the side, along with all of our retail items. And I will eventually go through debug and like search for all of those like display books. Here I did something strange, which was grab that bookshelf and then make a copy and raise it up. And I think it looks pretty good. Like it fits the vibe. Like I think it's tall enough. Because I didn't really want to use the modular bookshelves again, even though I totally could have, but I wanted something a little bit different in terms of style, and it kind of looks like a storage shelf more so than like a display shelf. And then I really like those carts that also came from Good to Work. So we've got a couple of those around, and maybe people put books back there as well. This could be a bookstore slash library slash cafe if you fancy. There's no computer here, but I think you have to have those for libraries. I also used that little shelf of books to kind of like create some more book clutter on that coffee table. And basically I'm just going around putting some comfy chairs. I'll hang up some curtains eventually. I don't keep those chairs. I use the ones from the Growing Together pack, like looks like a little egg chair or something, yeah. I use a couple of those to create some like little reading spots on this side. And then add all the book clutter that I can find, pretty much. I think I typed book. I think just went through, looked for book clutter. And it took me a while to figure out like what to do for the curtains, because I kind of wanted curtains to make it a little bit more homey. So I use those gray ones that are base game, and then I use the rod from the Desert Luxe kit and just kind of layer that, like a ton of them, and I cut out some of this adjusting because it was a lot of fiddling around with those things. So I cut a lot of that out in the end, but I don't think it's a huge deal. It's literally just a bunch of those, a bunch. And I think it ends up looking pretty nice because I cut off the second level of that main part. It's like very open, and with the skylight, it also has lots of natural light coming through the top, which also I had to make sure that I wasn't putting lights, like hanging lights that were just going to be floating. So I had to pay attention to that as well. Up here on this little step in the corner that goes up into the bathroom, it took me a little while to decide. I wanted something over there, like should I put like a full shelf? I end up going with those little bookshelves again, or the shelves that are like those book stacks, and I moved them over to the wall right by the bathroom door, and just put a couple of plants on there to again make it really homey. And then I just go through and add a bunch of plants. Although this is a very book heavy area. Sorry, I was looking, my cat made a noise and he has been trying to eat the dog food today. So just wanted to make sure he wasn't eating the dog food because he has food. He just likes to pretend that he doesn't. Cats are so weird like that. He just likes to scream, which he's made his presence known on past videos before. Not yet today. But he has food. I gave him fresh, like, canned food that he's decided to start eating again. He didn't eat most of it. He let it dry out. And then he was just yelling at me again for more food. I was like, sir, I fed you. Pet cats are so strange. So here I'm just putting all of those, I think they're meant to be like book covers that are framed. Put those all over the cafe. Those are our main wall art that we use. And I think it makes sense because it's a book cafe. So we're selling books. Maybe we're like an independent bookstore, cafe, whatever. And so we have, like, you know, our main authors. I almost said artists. I mean, I think personally I feel that writers are artists, but I meant authors. So maybe we showcase new or, you know, currently newest releases in these frames. Maybe that's what we do. Just throw a couple of plants on these bookshelves. They're really cute. I like them. It's just like, what do I put on a shelf made of books? Obviously plants, but I feel like a shelf like that would be so weird in real life. I'm sure they exist, but it would just seem really weird. So here I go. I started to put in hanging lights and realized I couldn't do it on that level. So I do go up to the top level and I just move it to where there's like an actual ceiling and not the skylight. So there are a couple of those tiny living lights around, and then put a couple of different lights around in the area. And then here too, I have to make sure that it's not just floating in the glass ceiling. Not that a lot of times if I'm playing in the build, I won't really pay attention to that. But since this is a speed build and it's a community lot and I want people to be able to use it, I wanted to make sure that the lights weren't floating. And then we use the same tiny living lights from the other side, just for cohesion purposes. As well as those little globe lights from Growing Together, which I'm kind of obsessed with them. I've been really into modern builds lately, and I know it's not especially modern, but I think the vibe matches modern style a lot, and so I've been using those lights like nobody's business. I did a shell challenge, and they were all over that. So here just trying to like kind of clutter up the shelves as well. Those lights, they're like candles they're from the Get to Work pack. Or maybe, no, they're from Dine Out, game pack. And I'm just pretending that they're like electric and not flame candles. Because that'd probably be really unsafe. I mean, definitely unsafe to put in a bookshelf in a public space. So then just a couple of plants in here as well. Some of them I use multiple times. Like that little plant from, oh gosh, is that from the Blooming Rooms kit? The like tiny little one? I think that it is. I use that multiple times. And that sort of, you know, makes it cohesive to reuse elements from other areas in a different section of the build. Here I'm just looking for those little stones from Debug. I moved the lot back just a little bit as I am moving to the outside, and we're actually closer to being done. There's about 8 minutes left in the build, where I mostly do landscaping and the little park that'll end up being on the side, playground. And I like to think that the playground is like separate from the cafe, but that it's just it was there, or they added it to kind of give kids something else to do, possibly while their parents are in the cafe, or you know, something like that. Because yeah, the park isn't necessarily part of this vibe. It's just kind of a good way to use the space and kind of give it a little bit more utility in gameplay. If you would like to use this pack, would love for it to be in others' gameplay. I added it into my own. We haven't visited it, but I should. I really should. So here I am trying to figure out the like small park area. I make it a little bit smaller. There's some monkey bars and a swing set and a little toddler like sand pit area, so your kids can play in the sand if they'd like. There's a basketball hoop and I believe a grill as well, and a couple benches. So, you know, if you are doing a rags to riches challenge and you need somewhere to sleep, honestly inside is probably better. There are couches there. Yeah, a little ball pit, little grill, little and this side's just pretty plain with the vibes overall. I thought about separating those two areas, but I ended up just kind of putting them together and filling the whole area with sand, just because it didn't really make any sense to not do that. Our little community grill, you know, someone might grill something for you and then you can eat it. You never know with Sims. They love to autonomously grill. So it'll definitely have some random hot dogs on it if you need if you need some food. The only thing this place doesn't have is a shower, which would be kind of weird, but you know, if you want to add a shower, you can. Could have like a little secret outdoor shower, like maybe it's pretending it's like a garden hose or something. I don't know. So here I'm just doing some terrain paint, and then I end up putting some trees around that kind of match the world, like some palm trees, and then a tree from Debug, I believe. Oh, and I also use those little planters that are from Get Together. I think that's the only thing from the Get Together pack that I use. So again, if you don't have that pack, you could definitely download this build. That won't, you know, that doesn't affect any gameplay, and there are plenty of other little flowers that you can use if you're interested. Yeah, and then those trees right there, and then I end up putting like a little, if you look to the left there, in that kind of parking lot area, there are those palm trees that are in like a little enclosure. It looks like it's a debug item, but I couldn't find it. Here I am just gonna add a bunch of book clutter, but I couldn't find it, so I ended up making my own with some palm trees and the rocks, and just kind of trying to mirror what is over there as well. So we've got lots of books on display, got some debug pails and a little shovel for the kids, for the kiddos. But yeah, it was looking so hard. There were only those green ones, and that's not what that is, so I don't know. I don't know what that item is or where it is, but I made my own. This probably This is definitely what takes up the like most of the rest of the amount of time. It's just me putting blocks down. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to keep uploading every other week, so if you want to make sure you don't miss another update, you can please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. I am hoping to grow this YouTube channel a bit, so I appreciate any support that you are wanting to give. Yeah, I'm super excited to keep building and seeing what else this game, you know, comes out with and what kind of inspiration I can get from it. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will catch you all in my next video. Bye!